May, I managed to scale to 3 million in a single month, right? When it was a product. Yeah.
For me, the biggest traffic hack is knowing that you can buy a BM that's already validated.
I don't buy BM. I don't pay thousands of RIAs anymore. The trading market is 95% gurus.
Gustavo Cavalcante, an engineer by training and a digital entrepreneur who turned a period of debt and losses in the financial market into a journey of great results in the digital world. After losing more than 1 million RIAs in day trading, Gustavo found a new turning point in the digital market. Today, he leads operations focused on apps and global info products and has already made over 10 million in this market.
This right here changed my life, and it will probably change yours too.
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Secret of Traffic. Today I'm here with Gustavo Cavalcante, who has already made over 10 million reais with global info products. So it's not info products in Brazil, it's info products being sold literally to the whole world, where you can really scale up because it's literally in dollars. So first of all, man, thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you, man.
You were here struggling with the audiovisual part,
But it worked out.
but now we've started. Well, guys, for those who don't know, Gustavo already has an operation today. So you have an operation there with 6 people, you said, right?
That's right.
How did you get started in the market? How long have you been in digital? Did you have a career before? Just a bit of context there.
All right, to introduce myself so you can get to know me a little better. I'm a bit more low-key on Instagram, you know? So I think people don't really know me that well, right? I'm someone who tries to do things offline. I don't show up much there. But telling you a bit about myself, right? My name is Gustavo. Nice to meet you all. And I also want to thank EL for inviting me here. Thank you truly for this opportunity. It's really great to be here. I started in the market, just telling you a bit more about myself. I'm currently 31 years old, and I started in the market back in September 2024. So it's been about a year and 7 months or so, roughly.
That's a short time, man. Revenue, congratulations.
I want to say thanks, really. Thank you so much. It's been an incredibly short period of time in the market, I believe. And to be completely honest with you, my progress has been absolutely remarkable. Thanks to the wonderful mentors I had in that context, let's say, because they were really essential in my journey. Back at the beginning, I knew absolutely nothing about the market. I landed in this market out of nowhere because I was pretty deep in debt, let's put it that way. Because I had 50,000 in debt and only 6,000 in the bank, so I had no idea.
Screwed.
But
How did you get into debt?
man, actually in 2020, what happened?
Got married and lost?
Everything? No. Sort of. The story is a bit complicated because I started in the job market. I studied chemical engineering in college, but I didn't stick with that field. Then I went to Itaú, started working at Itaú. I'll summarize a bit of my story here so you can get to know me better. I started out at Itaú, started making some good money there at Itaú. At the time, it was 6,000 reais, which was a lot for me when I started. And for me, it was a dream, Zemano.
Working at the bank and all that?
Yes, for sure. To go from nothing, I had nothing.
And
For me, it was a dream I had. And I also had the opportunity to meet other people from outside the market. And these other people told me, man, what you're doing, sorry, it's nothing.
you
Really need to open yourself up to new things, open your mind. And then something clicked for me. And I said, man, I really need to do other things because this isn't a life. Staying there in a regular job, answering to a boss, that kind of thing, I didn't feel like it was for me.
really?
And then I saw all the people who were working over on Faria Lima, those guys in their business suits, always talking about the stock market and investments. I thought to myself, man, could I do that too? Those guys are there in the treasury doing day trades at the bank, dealing with millions, billions of reais. I thought, man, would it be cool if I went down that path too? And I went into day trading. During the pandemic, I started trading on the stock market in 2019,
B3?
doing
What? Mini index?
mini dollar, mini index, mini dollar stocks, all of that.
Real day trading?
Real day trading. Then the pandemic hit. I started in 2019, and in 2020, the pandemic came.
Nintes dropped to 40,000 points.
Exactly, sinking. And then I caught that drop. I caught that drop because my sister was in China at the time. And she said, man, everything is shutting down here.
Circuit break.
Break. I said, man, so this is the time to bet against the market. And that's when I made a lot of money. So I left. I left the job market. I left Itaú because I made a lot of money in the stock market. And because I made a lot of money in the stock market, I thought I was already free, that I was already set for life. I was making about 30,000 reais a day back then in the stock market because there were circuit breaks all the time. So anything you put in would scale up really fast. We say scale, but over there we use another term for it. It's leveraged. We were leveraging really hard. And with that, I built my position in the market. But even after that, I thought the stock market would keep going the same way, just dropping like before.
I thought
It was easy. I said, no, now it's just about selling, buying, and that's it. Of course, I studied day trading techniques and also trading in a statistical way. Since I relied more on statistics, for us engineers,
we
prefer to see numbers in front of us rather than images. At least that's how I am. I base myself on numbers. And with that, I started structuring my trading strategy. But my mistake was thinking that it would last for a long time. And it didn't last. The stock market started to lose volume, to lose the amplitude it used to have in this case.
Of movement.
And because of that, I kind of ended up stopping earning what I used to earn.
And
then that ended up reversing because I kept chasing the gains I used to have. And by chasing those gains, it turned into losses.
It was just kid coming in.
Yeah, exactly. It was just red.
Just stop loss. Yeah.
I should have set a stop loss, but it just snowballed. I couldn't stop because I kept telling myself, I'll recover. I can do it. I've done it before.
You hit a vicious trading cycle.
Exactly. I hit a vicious cycle of
seeing the profits, right?
I had already seen the profits. Man, I had gone from 30,000 reais that I had saved in the bank because I didn't spend anything back when I was making money. There at Itaú to 1,200,000 reais.
Wow, you actually made 1.2 million trading?
With day trading, man. In 5 months.
Damn.
You did.
Million and shit. In
5 months. So in 5 months, man. And like, because I made that kind of money, my head, man, I thought I was Batman. You know? Bruce Wayne, for real.
Yeah, that's it. You made some serious money with day trading.
Man, exactly.
I began day trading.
It didn't work out?
No, I spent a year. I tried day trading but quit.
Ready?
It's a similar story, except I didn't make money.
How does that happen?
I used to work in Morumbi. Just a quick mention. I worked in Morumbi right next to Faria Lima too, in those business companies. I think it was Crisaiden. So man, I had already been there for 4 years. I'm an engineer too. Then I quit my job to work with day trading. I said, damn, I need to make money online, something like that. So I left there. I quit my job to work with day trading too. And then I spent about a year doing just that. I didn't make money, but I didn't lose either, you know? In a year, I must have made about 1,000 reais. I just broke even, so I started looking for other things. Anyway, it's cool. This pattern, like you, Rodrigo too, right? He's the one who came here on Coloque. Rodrigo's podcast editor must have already launched it, right? That's cool, man. But what about you? So you made some serious money, huh?
Oh,
1,200,000 from day trading.
So think about it. A guy who had nothing, making 1,200,000 in 5-6 months. My mind was blown, you know? I thought I owned the world at that point, going out and buying everything I ever dreamed of, doing everything I always wanted. And then in the end, I was, you know, spending 60,000 a month and nothing was coming in, you know? Actually, I was just losing. Just
losing, right? Yeah.
I would add up the gains.
No expenses, right? And losses from day trading.
Because it all adds up, right?
Yes.
So you lose on your credit card and you also lose in the stock market. So what started as a 60,000 credit card debt would turn into 100, 120, 150, depending on the loss you took.
Right.
In the same day trade.
Right there. And you didn't make any plan like, I'm going to take 200, 300,000 reais. I'm going to leave it here without touching it. I'm going to buy apartments.
Absolutely nothing. I just went crazy, you know? I was completely insane, right?
I
tend to be a bit more reckless when it comes to those things. But I definitely learned a valuable lesson after that happened.
Then
I thought that the market, as it kept going, would continue in the same way. But it didn't continue. And that's why I started losing a lot of money.
And
my lifestyle there, my standard of living stayed the same, spending the same way, doing the same things. And there came a time when I just saw that money turn to dust. And everything, all the money I had built up, you know, everything had turned to dust at that moment. So I had to ask, and
my mind
was destroyed. Yeah, I think it was the worst moment of my life, really.
Tell me, right? I didn't know what to do, man. I remember when I got really frustrated when I couldn't make money, I stopped doing it because like I used to record my screen to do a debrief of my day to make my trading journal. Okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? And so on. So I worked 2 shifts in the morning and at night. At night, debriefing what I did in the morning, and in the morning, trading. In the morning and in the afternoon, right? Then there was a day when the camera ended up recording my face instead of my screen. So I went to check it out, man. And I was just sitting there frustrated. And all that at 24, 23 years old. Like, man, I looked like I was 80. Like,
I was like this, okay? Yeah.
I can imagine. I got really frustrated. When I saw that, I knew this wasn't living. That's when I started looking for other options. That's why I really get you, man.
Man, just so you know, I became a different person.
Still an engineer too, right? Everyone said you were crazy.
No, it's everyone.
It's like me quitting my job as an engineer working on Faria Lima.
My parents are super conservative, always telling me, go to college, do this, do that. I don't know what else. Go to college, get a regular job, CLT, save up some money, then you retire. I've always been kind of the black sheep of the family, always looking for alternative ways to grow. And with that, man, my head was a mess. So I said, man, what do I do now? I have two options. Either I borrow money from the bank. I know that
I'm going to do, you let
end up with 0.0 in the bank, 0.0. Or I have my aunt here, who's also like a second mother to me, and maybe she can help me.
And
I borrowed 50,000 from my aunt.
that is amazing.
It was tough.
To do trading?
No, I wanted to get out of that market, but I still didn't know what to do. I wanted to leave day trading, but I still didn't know what to do. I was looking for alternatives. I had seen Kanal Dak online there also selling PLR. And
So you were starting to leave. You had already made up your mind. You didn't want to get more money to try one more shot at trading.
there, it's not for me. If I lost 1,200,000, 50,000 is not going to help me.
That's how people end up spending their whole lives on this.
For sure, it's an addiction, right? Man,
It's an addiction.
to the slot machine. You get it because it's money right there, you know? It's all so fast. Dopamine is through the roof, so much stimulation. So I had, my aunt help me out. At the time, she lent me the money. And then I told her, look, I'll pay you back in 6 months. Give me 6 months and I'll pay you back. I didn't know what to do, but I will pay you back. And then I told my dad, I said, Dad, I'm going to have to become an Uber driver. My dad was shocked. He said, what do you mean? Do you have any money? I said, I don't, Dad. I'm broke.
He said, that's not possible, man.
It's not possible that you're broke. He didn't really know how much I had, honestly.
But
He knew my lifestyle, which wasn't modest. And because of that, he was shocked. And then I said, no, that's the only way out I have. There's nothing else I can do. And to sum up the story, there I was one fine day, kind of not knowing what to do. And in my mind, I was going to become, in fact, an Uber driver, really. Nothing against it. That was my option at the time. And then I was scrolling through Instagram until a guy popped up, right? Actually, Marcio Araujo, I don't know if you know him, and Guilherme Carclin, two people, my first two mentors there.
Marcio, Marcel, damn. You're invited, Marcio, to come over. We have to
Invite him. We have to.
invite him.
Exactly, those two.
Handsome guy.
I met them there at XMX. Man,
Awesome. I was there with them too at XMX at Pizarro's from Mau Mau. Man, I know those guys. I went with them on a trip to Balneario for an award event for a platform. I met them there. The guys are super.
the guys are really cool, right?
We had some wine, a whiskey sour. It was fun.
So I was scrolling and suddenly this guy popped up on Instagram running and talking about selling info products globally. I don't know what, in dollars. That guy was Masho. I thought, man, is this guy for real? And me, coming from day trading, I'm used to gurus. There are a lot of gurus.
Plus,
A lot of gurus who don't do anything, most of them. 95% of the day trading market is made up of gurus. They don't do anything. They just show results there. It's all lies just to sell courses. And then I said, man, this guy is giving me confidence. Let me take a look here. I started following him. He started talking, I think it was in February. That's when I started following him. Actually, I had seen a video of his on Instagram in February, but I let it go. And then in July, I saw him again. I said, man, let me follow him more closely. I started following him and all that. And then he launched the mentorship program. And actually, a little before that, I had already looked for alternatives for this. So I could get into this market because I liked what he was saying, what he was presenting. And at the time, he didn't have a mentorship program. And with that, I started looking. Then I found a guy who was selling mentorship for 5,000, but I had...
6, you heard him talk content. He wasn't selling courses there, Marcio.
He sold no courses.
Cool. I didn't even know that I know them, but I've never seen them selling courses or anything. If they sell mentorship or a course on the side.
Yeah, actually, I think there was a very specific date when he opened up a mentorship.
Oh, everyone has those moments when they want to teach. I think when you start learning,
It was just that one time, and I think he never offered mentorship again, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's giving individual mentorship now. But as for group mentorship, I think it was just that one time, if I'm not mistaken. And then
Tag Marcio's Instagram later too. Editor, remind me and get on the guys about it because this guy is really good, man. He already taught someone here from scratch. He needs to get into the educational side too, man. Sure, to get more people into the market. But anyway, so you started studying the market more?
he wasn't selling a course then with no mention of his mentorship. He went after it. I had a guy who was selling it for 5,000 and I only had 6,000. I said, man, should I really do it? Pay 5,000, 6,000 and all that? I only have 6,000. I said, man, let me hold off a bit, right? I asked Marcio, hey, do you offer mentorship? He said, no, I don't. I don't plan on starting one or anything like that. I said, oh, okay, next month, right? I'll save up some money. I'll drive Uber here, save up some cash, and I'll pay that guy the 5,000.
Yeah.
The following week, Marcio launched his mentorship program.
Oh, that's cool.
It launched for 1,000 raise.
Wow, so cheap.
Really cheap.
Free.
Dirt cheap, near free?
For those who know what the guy teaches, it's basically free.
Exactly. So I said, man, it's now or never, you know? I went there, didn't think twice, paid and everything.
Man, in DR, if the guy charges 1,000 raise just to introduce you to Dr. and doesn't teach you anything else, just so you know this market exists and that it works, it's already really cheap because it blows your mind. Doctor, it's really crazy. It is
really crazy. It's really crazy. And it blew my mind. So I paid and did his mentorship. And then, man, super complete. He showed everything he did from start to finish, and I put it into practice. This was in September 2024. Then I launched my first offer, which was for weight loss. My offer
was
for a global product, United States, English language.
And
I launched this first offer. It sold in the first 2 days, but in the next 3, it didn't sell. Now it's easy, but you saw the
little sale there at least.
Yep.
It's real.
Exactly.
You got bitten, right? You got bitten.
Very near the
digital bug.
It started to trickle in, the first notification. That's when I got suspicious. I said, hey, wait a minute. Is this thing real? It's not just some guru talk. And then I said, man, this is really the path I need to follow. I started consuming content way back then too. I started studying like crazy. And I made my first 2 sales in the first 2 days, right there. In the next 3 days, nothing sold. I told him, I said, man, what now? What do I do? Nothing sold on the other days. Then he said, no, keep going. If it's sold, it's because it was validated. You got those sales and all. I managed to stay in the black in the first 2 days. It was validated. I said, man, maybe I should switch offers. So I switched. Then I went there, changed the offer, still had a nagging doubt, but I switched the offer. And then with the second offer, it was validated and I started to scale up.
Wow.
It was...
Man, that's awesome, huh?
That's when it really started. Price gap.
Some guidance, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes there are people who spend like years in digital and never get anything right because the guy won't pay. That's what I recommend the most, man. Find someone you trust, someone you relate to. It shortens the path, man. Pay for the mentorship because it's all about the details. You keep tightening the screws there.
And
man, it really made a difference. Yeah.
Because if I had started out on my own, I definitely would have burned through my cash, wouldn't have made it because I only had 6,000 in cash and that would have been it.
Yes.
You get it? So the guidance, I think it's very important. And especially in our market, it's ideal for me, in my opinion. And
which traffic source did you start with? Did you start on Facebook, on YouTube? I
started on Facebook. And
how was it in the beginning on Facebook?
Man, it was pretty complicated because it was during the American election period.
So
Facebook was just, no one was able to run anything. Accounts were getting banned left and right. Nobody knew what to do to keep their account active.
Which
was 80-20 of the operation. It wasn't even about the creatives or anything, not even the offer, nothing like that. It was really what kept the account running. And I said, man, what do I do? Because I paid a lot for the BM, I can't just let it go to waste. I have
the
last silver bullet.
Nice. So that's important. You just gave a tip without even realizing it. You paid a lot for the BM? What do you mean? Did you buy a BM?
As
people who are just starting out don't even know that exists. It's the biggest traffic hack. For me, it is. It's knowing that you can buy a BM that's already validated.
When you start out in the market on Facebook, when you're running ads, for example, which is my main traffic source today and was also my main traffic source when I started, you need, if I'm not mistaken, 4 assets. You need a profile, which is your own profile. It can be yours or someone else's that you know. You need a page, a fan page that you create, so you can buy a fan page that already has likes, that already has followers, or it can be from scratch, even if you create it yourself. You need a BM there, right? Which you also, this BM is a business management, right? You can buy it or you can create one from scratch as well, according to your profile. If you don't have any created, you can create one too, right? But in this case, it's better for you to buy one that's already been used because it's stronger, right? There's the matter of it being stronger, able to withstand more, so you can scale more easily and quickly, right? And the fourth thing there is that you need account, right? So it already comes together, right? BM account there, right? But I'm adding this fourth one because sometimes the accounts get shut down, you know? So inside the BM, there are the ad accounts, right? That you need them for you to also
Run ads. And nowadays to buy a BM, right? Like it's a technique that seems pretty recent, right? 7 months in the market, it's really recent. But what about today? If you had to choose a criterion to buy a BM, how do you analyze whether the BM is good to buy? Oh, okay. Buying a BM, but with 100 reads spent 1,000. What do you look at there? Because I see that everyone looks at something different. What do you personally look at today?
For me, that has changed a lot since I started in my operation here. I'll tell you how I used to do it before, and I'll tell you how I do it today. Before, I used to buy the BMs that were more expensive. So let's suppose I would pay 3,000-4,000 for a BM. When I started, I paid 1,500 raise there because I didn't have much money. So I paid for a cheaper BM, which was possible to buy at the time, and it met my needs, which was a bit strong with expenses of around 3,000 or 4,000. So for me, that was already good enough. And I used to pay a lot of attention to the cycle, to its spending limit. So you would add all that up, and that would be the value of the BM, 3,000 or 4,000 reais, which I paid at the time after I started, when I really began to scale things up. But if you're just starting out, you can get a BM of 1,000 or 1,500 reais. That's no problem at all. However, and currently, since I have a more structured operation, more people, today I have 6 people on the team. I have 2 traffic managers. One is a junior who assists the mid-level manager with scaling, contingency, that sort of thing. And this junior does exactly what I think is very important, which saves me a lot of money in my operation nowadays, which is what? I don't buy BMs, man, but I don't pay 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 reais or anything like that anymore. I get a BM that costs 45 reais. It's brand new, and I start warming it up from scratch. So I warm it up, so what do I do here? Let me break it down for you so you can understand.
It's gold. This
is gold. I buy this cheap BM, 45 reais, set it up on the profile, and start spending on engagement. So I start spending, let's say 5 reais a day or 1 real a day, 6 reais there just to get some engagement going on it. And with that, I warm up the page as well. I set a goal for likes on the page. And with that, people start liking the page. People send it anywhere. So let's say I send it to the United States. The location, whether it's Brazil or not, doesn't really matter for engagement.
just
To properly warm up the business manager and also the associated Facebook fan page. For example, I post a picture of a puppy. I know people are going to like it. So something cute, something like that. That way people really like it and it starts warming up the BM because it starts spending.
yes.
It's about engagement there. And it also starts warming up the page. I believe this is also very important for Facebook because it's part of your traffic structure since you buy media from them. And with that, I save a lot of money because I'm buying a cheap BM, a cheap asset. I warm it up myself.
100 times cheaper.
Very expensive, it saves a lot of money, right? And I warm it up myself and make sure that later I have several assets ready to run. So I warm it up for a week, let it warm up for a week.
So today you have a contingency manager who handles all this structural work, right?
That's right.
Man, this guy really saves a lot of money because there were months when I spent 80,000 reais just buying IBM. Me
too.
You keep buying IBM, buying as it drops to scale. For me, where opportunity is both cheap and expensive, scaling up, I don't know, making 10, 20, 30 in profit per day. If you stop the operation, you lose 30,000 reais. There's no way to stop an
operation like that.
Yeah. And you think, damn, I'll buy a BMW there for 5,000 reais, which I make 25 if I'm making 30.
And the money just keeps going out, right? Because you don't even notice it. You see it drop.
You're crazy. Scaling up more. You're in the trade there.
Right. The dopamine
is through the roof in digital trading.
So that's basically it, right? Back then in 2025, for example, right? So I started in the market in 2024 around September. 2024 was more or less just for me to understand the market. In 2025, I really started to scale up. And then that's what would happen. I would buy a lot of BM, spend a lot of money, didn't notice anything because I was scaling hard. In May, I managed to scale to 3 million in a month with the info product. And that's
better margins. It's a lot.
It's a lot because it's an info product. You, L, know that with info products, we have a higher margin. It's
Tougher.
It's complicated to scale because the team is much smaller.
Scale volume. But the satisfaction at the end of the day is much greater.
It's much greater. Exactly. With Nutra, you can hit 3 million quickly in a month.
Now,
Info is much harder. So back in May, I started scaling up heavily. And that, man, helped me to understand the market, because I think I picked it up really fast. The market, right?
yeah, man, it's really fast. Seriously. Impressive. Yeah.
It was fast, man. A lot of help from Rodrigo, too. The guy is good, too. And
Rodrigo's been on. We've discussed him.
yep,
He's the former partner.
Quick message. If you still don't know what DirectAds is, basically DirectAds is a tool for you to hide your offers, hide your creatives, and launch campaigns in bulk in a very fast way. So if you're from the Bahian scale, Soviet scale, or need to launch a lot of campaigns, a lot of creatives per day, try the Left Chats Club, click here on the Rio link.
All right, cool. So you set it up before. You used to buy at a higher price and all, and now you kind of prepare your structure. So that's great. And back then in paid traffic, when you started scaling, how did you handle traffic? Just so people understand. Creative testing, scaling, did you have any specific strategy? For example, in my operation, we only did testing from Monday to Friday.
on
The weekends, we would save the accounts for scaling. We didn't want to waste account slots. That's the theory we have over there. What were the secrets you used to scale up?
let's go. From the moment I understood the market, I realized it's all about speed and volume. So the more you scale up your operation and the faster you move, the quicker you reach the results you're aiming for, or you might even surpass them. I surpassed them. I set a goal for myself that I had to make at least $1 million in revenue per month there until, I don't know, until June or July. I hit 3 million there in May. With that, I believe that because I really had a very fast scaling, and what did I do? We didn't really have a structure like you did, like scaling up at the end of the week. No,
We
you would already test the creative on the same day. As soon as it started selling, the feedback was really fast. We would already start scaling its budget. So the structure was 1.5, which we would launch.
It is a structure that we truly believe in.
We got it from Dairo Jr. I don't know if you know him too.
He's
A really good guy. He helped a lot with the traffic scaling part, at least for me. And then we would really follow Facebook's parameters. What are Facebook's parameters? What is Facebook's playbook? On Facebook, Facebook says, here's even a little hack. What actually optimizes is the pixel and the account.
yes,
But the account actually optimizes more through the ad set, which is the group of ads.
through the ad set.
And if you're going to test the creative, let's suppose you're at one, right?
Yes,
There are people who do this creative test and then move it to another ad set or run another campaign, moving the test to another ad set for scaling, because that creative has been validated. But man, you've already made sales, you've already spent a budget on that ad set, and it's already kind of optimized. So why not scale within that same ad set?
it was validated in that specific ad set.
Exactly. And you've already spent money on that ad set. So take advantage of the money you've already spent and the optimization it already has for you to scale. So I think that approach, that insight was really important for us there, because we were able to test the creative and scale it right away.
I see. I used to do something very similar when I was running campaigns in Brazil. We ran a lot info Brazil. And we had our theories, right? That's why I say the manager always has to be looking at the data. It's really cool to get information from that podcast, from courses and networking and all that. But the most important thing is to have your own data.
It's
You looking at your operation and seeing what works for you in your ad account, because there are a lot of particularities, right? And I remember there was a market standard, which was what? Test with ABO, okay? 10 creatives, launch 1, 10, 1, and scale. It was with CBO. So they used to say, look, test with ABO because ABO doesn't scale and CBO does. It's smarter and scales more. So you would test with ABO, take the creative and do what people used to say, right? 1, 10, 1, maybe 2 creatives. Then that one you would move to 1, 3, 1 in CBO, for example. And you would scale there in CBO. Man, it worked. It was effective. But sometimes the campaign would die. And we would leave the campaign running, the test campaign, until one day I thought, man, we used to run it. We had a theory, right? Run it for 48 hours, turn off the campaign, see what worked, and move it to CBO. I said, man, why am I pausing it? A campaign that's making a profit, it doesn't make sense, right? If I just leave this campaign, Bo, just running with the same CPA value there, like It was 300 raise, 200 raise, 300, 400 raise. That was my average ticket. Ours was 200 raise per day, right? That was half of the average ticket, the CPA, which was the desired CPA, right? To have a margin, both of them. I would let it run for 2 days and I said, man, what if I just let it go? So I started leaving the campaign there instead of just 2 days, 3 days. And that campaign started selling. Then at the time, even my manager commented, man, what if we scale this CBO? And me, stubborn, said, no, scaling is only with CBO. That's how the biggest ones do it. Then I said, until one day I went, man, put the budget in that ABO there and let's see what happens. In our operation, we started scaling more in ABO from the creative test than from the scaling campaigns. So we would launch it there. Like with 21, a sale would come out. We stopped with that 48-hour thing. Man, did a sale come through? Increase it. Did a sale come through? Increase it. Sometimes on the same day, that ad set in the ABO would already be at 2, 3, 4, 5,000 in budget. It started with 200 rees. So that was an insight I always mention, right? Always pay attention to this operation. It's more important than
Just
picking up a little technique.
exactly, because it's very particular. I think it varies from operation to operation, from
Account to account.
account to account. Everyone has their own way of scaling, their own way of seeing the market. For example, there were people talking about ABO. Here, for me, what worked best from the beginning of my journey until now was CBO. Did you
Only use CBO 1.5.
CBO 1.5?
5 identical creatives or 5 different creatives.
Different ones. Nothing the same in the same account.
Just one different creative. So let's say you want to scale. You only scale vertically. You don't duplicate that campaign.
No duplicating.
Just to clarify, vertical scaling means increasing the budget.
Exactly. Increasing the budget. In the beginning, we used to duplicate the campaigns and it worked really well. The campaign would start at midnight with 1,000 campaigns running. And when it was 8 in the morning, 6 in the morning, when I woke up to check how things were going, to see which ones were performing, which ones weren't, which ones were, we would pause the ones that weren't performing and keep the ones that were, increasing the budget for those that had more than 2 sales within the ideal CPA. So that's what we used to do back then. Don't ask me why, but for me, the market changed. And nowadays, I can't do that anymore. I've tried several times. I
said the same thing too. That's exactly what you said. 10, 20 CBO campaigns there at 8 in the morning. Which ones died? You turn off the ones that didn't work. And if you get 2 or 3 sales there, you increase the budget and keep killing off campaigns throughout the day. And by the end of the day, you end up with like 3 campaigns with the budget maxed out. So for me, that's exactly how it was.
Up until around March. Then after that, the scaling method stopped working. I don't know why. And then the 1.5 method started working and hasn't stopped since.
1.5, and for example, 1.5 will be in the CBO, right?
CBO. And
for example, the CBOs. It takes everything, and you said how much budget, for example, to start with?
so I set 500 reais there.
500 rees, and what's your average ticket?
I would say that my average ticket is somewhere around $320.
Okay, so almost 2 average tickets, right?
That's right.
Like, do you just put it there? 500 reais? Is there any math based on the number of creatives or just because of the CPA of it's
Because of the average ticket, really, right? The
average ticket? Okay, got it. So, all right. So basically 2 in budget, basically 2 average tickets
That's right.
to make the math easier for me. I'm an engineer, but I'm already retired. Let's say it's 600 reis. Let's round it up to 600 reis with the average ticket being 300 reis. What is the nature of CBO? It pulls the entire budget to just one creative. When that happens and it doesn't sell, obviously you pause that creative and say, no, let Facebook do its thing. It will find the creative that sells.
No, I usually pause, but I give the test some time. There are a lot of people I see out there who say, oh, I tested it. For me, what does testing mean to you? For me, it's really testing. Testing for 3 days, letting it spend, not making any changes unless it's performing, then you increase the budget. But how do I usually run tests? Actually, not usually, 100% of the time. How do I run tests? I leave it running for 3 days straight without changing anything in the campaign, just spending the budget, whether it sells or not. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. If it sells, I increase the budget. But if it doesn't sell, it doesn't matter. I just let it keep spending. And through that, I see its performance. If it happens that it only delivers to one creative and that creative doesn't validate, I just pause it right there and let the others deliver, because it happens a lot, at least in my operation, that one day it doesn't perform. The next day, that creative is making tons of sales. It's happened a lot that for 2 days, they don't perform. And then on the 3rd day, the creative takes off in sales.
I see.
So the testing phase is really important to me because it already tells me who I can scale and who I can't, but I really need to test. It's not a matter of hours. It's not a matter of budget. No, for me, it's a matter of days and budget. Those are the foundation of my testing, you know?
I see. So you put in, say, 5, let it run for 3 days, but you spend 600 rees all on the first day, one creative. You don't pause it.
No.
Pause. You only make changes to that campaign starting on the 4th day.
Exactly.
The sale comes in, then you go and start scaling it just vertically. And if you want to scale that creative even more, do you also move it to other accounts?
Exactly. Then what
It actually happens.
is that I don't duplicate it in the same account. When I started doing that, my performance got worse, much worse. It seems
It's like it starts competing within the same account.
that's really what it seems like. It's a matter of competition there. And that's why I stopped duplicating in the same account. I take that creative that worked, that scaled in account number 1, and I move it to another account.
You don't change anything on it?
I change nothing.
Not even metadata or like a filter or another file. You just take it, duplicate it, and go.
I just duplicate it and go. I take it to the second account, but this time I do because
That creative was validated. You leave a 111 there for the winning creative.
exactly.
You isolate it to receive the entire budget. That's right.
Exactly. And with that, as soon as I move to the second account, I already start making variations of that same creative that was validated. So I change the hook, tweak the hook. The copy, we don't change it much because that copy is already validated. So changing the copy is a bit riskier, let's say, than changing the creative. So it's easier for you to modify its 80-20, which is the hook. So it's easier to change that than to mess with the copy and simply...
Yeah, but I understood that you've already got the retention graph. On YouTube, you can do that, see the creatives retention. Man, about 60% of the audience leaves within the first 3 seconds.
Yes,
And on Facebook, it's even higher. Yeah.
even higher.
Like 70% of the audience leaves within those first 3 seconds. In other words, if you change those first 3 seconds, you'll be refreshing 70% of your audience.
Because that's the top of the funnel. So if you change the top of the funnel, everything else benefits from it. So if it's positive, it seems,
So ridiculous, changing just 3 seconds.
because sometimes people get so obsessed with looking for, damn, wait, the creative it's validated, but let me check the CTA at the very end. Man, the CTA isn't the 80-20. It's not the top of the funnel, it's the bottom of the funnel. So if you change it, it's like a seesaw. You're moving the base of the seesaw. It won't move properly. You have to move the end of it.
You move it right on the fulcrum.
Yeah, exactly. At the fulcrum, you won't move it
Make a
like a lever, really. You have to use an absurd amount of force for that. Man, it's easier. If you move it at the exact spot, it's easier there, which is at the end. The lever arm is longer. Interesting. Then the funnel, the mouth of the funnel becomes bigger. More people enter it. More people see the creative. More enter your VCL and so on.
All right. And in terms of scaling, do you have any standard for increasing the budget per sale? Or is it by time of day? Or, for example, according to a time window, there's VCL, which is 30 minutes. Then people say, no, I wait for a cycle of my VCL to pass before optimizing. Since I just made a change now, I'll only be able to know in an hour what happened. So after 2 cycles, the guy, do you have any rules like that? Or do you usually just go with the flow?
Usually my VSLs they run on average about 30 minutes. So when I increase,
Info products are shorter.
exactly, shorter. Ultra is over an hour.
Yes.
And so since it's 30 minutes, I've already set on average, I increase the budget now. I just check if it's delivering, if that creative or that campaign that's performing, that I increased. The budget is delivering better in 2 hours. So I've set for myself that every 2 hours I take a look.
After 2 cycles there, no, it was the 4 cycles of the VSL.
That's right.
Set hour in out pitch.
That's right. I really wait to see if it's going to perform better or worse there, and I make the necessary adjustments to help it improve. Let's say sometimes I lower the budget depending on the campaign. Let's suppose there's a campaign that has an ideal CPA there. My ideal CPA is based on 1/3 of the front end ticket value. So if it's 100 rees there, my ideal CPA is 33 rees. If it's 200 rees, then the ideal CPA is 70 rees. So I let the campaign spend that amount, and then I keep an eye on it. If I increased its budget, I watch to see if it's performing. If it didn't perform and it's below my ideal CPA, below 70 reais, let's say, then I go there and lower it a bit. If it's a little above, actually, right? The campaign there, right? it's performing a little worse than I expected.
Reduce the budget.
I lower the budget a bit so it can last until the end of the day. For me, it's important that it lasts until the end of the day. You
Keep adjusting it throughout the day.
right?
If it's doing well, you give it a little more food.
Right?
If it's doing badly, you punish it.
That's right. Now, if it hasn't sold anything, man, I cut it. It's out, you know?
Then you kill it.
I kill it right there and only reactivate it the next day.
So you don't have a set proportion. It's kind of a calculation. Like, man, if the purple one is doing really well, you go all in, you add another 0.
That's right.
If the ROE is a bit tight, you keep adjusting it. Isn't there a way to just double the budget?
I kind of go about doubling the budget unless it starts to get too... If the ROE starts getting too tight and the profit doesn't go up as much as I expected, for me, ROE is great. There, it's 1.8 and above. That's already a good ROE. Traffic is more expensive now, so the ROE tends to drop a bit more.
And to this day, you only use this strategy. So the test campaign is for testing, and then there's the scaling campaign.
Exactly. I've already tried
Bahian scaling, that kind of thing. Done.
to use Bahian scaling, Soviet scaling. There are all kinds of scaling. Now there's Angolan scaling.
Angolan? Anywhere unknown to you.
Angolan scaling is when you start with several campaigns, each with a really low budget. I think about $2 per campaign, really low. And then you see which ones make sales. So you start, instead of starting with one campaign, you start with 100 campaigns with a $2 budget each. The ones that sell, you increase their budget. The ones that don't sell, you cut out. Because then the CPA tends to be ridiculously low in these campaigns. It has already worked.
Great.
Have you tried it? I've tried it. It worked really well at the beginning. It worked really well because the CPA was ridiculously low, like $1, $1.50. When you scaled up their budget, those campaigns that performed, that sold, you increased their budget. They usually kept that low CPA. So man, CPA, when you had, I don't know, $1,000 budget, it was selling at a CPA of $7, $10, $12, like an insanely low CPA.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
I was used to a CPA of $60, $40 sometimes. So dropping it down to $7 there, an average CPA for me was, man, what is this? What's going on? And it worked for a while after that. For me, it doesn't work anymore. I've tested it several times.
It goes up but doesn't generate any results.
None of them work.
In the Bayana too. For you,
It doesn't work. It didn't take off, right? I tested it, right? I have it too, you know?
do you know why I don't?
Man, honestly, I don't know.
The theory,
I said,
the hypothesis, right?
I want to know. It's
The hypothesis even actually. I told my copywriter today, who I really like over there. In the operation, the copywriter also understands traffic. And the traffic person also understands copy. Because one helps the other, right? You don't need to be the person who gets their hands dirty. You just need to know what's going on. Like I was telling him this today actually. I said, man, if the operation worked, wouldn't you want to know how your creative was tested? I said, dude, from my point of view, it's a lack of respect for your work. I said exactly these words, a lack of respect for your work, not knowing how the creative was tested. Because if it was launched like at 3 a.m., the budget and the manager just goes and flips it, didn't validate it, then are you going to have to redo 30 creatives? Are you going to have to redo another 4 micro leads there? Don't you think that's disrespectful to your work? So you really need to understand exactly what's happening with what you produced, right? So I really like to bring this perspective. Man, in the other operation where I used to work, I didn't have this level of access, you know? No, man, you need to know exactly. So we really bring this perspective. There for the copywriter, about how the traffic is set up, what strategy is being used, which ad account. Oh, the guy made 10 creatives in a bad ad account. He threw away the description. Actually, you also need to test it in another ad account because the ad account is a really big variable. But
cool, this perspective.
I was giving this perspective to the copywriter because
He can get really important feedback about what's happening. If
it's,
working, if it's not working, why?
I was explaining to him like, man, why do you think the Bayana scaling doesn't work for info but works for Nutra? Then he went quiet. He had no idea. I know that the Bayana scaling is the one on the right. So I said, man, from my point of view, at least from experience, honestly, right? We noticed that the Balena scaling, for those who don't know, is a 51, right? I launched an ABO there with 50 ad sets. And it's by far the most used one nowadays, especially in Nutra. I think it's the strategy that's working best. I'd even say that 90% of the players are scaling, are using it, but the info crowd doesn't use it. Or at least the people I've talked to so far. I haven't seen anyone for whom it's working. And I kept thinking about it. I said, man, what actually works? Why doesn't it work? And I kind of noticed a pattern, which is this. When you spread your budget too thin across a lot of ad sets, your budget is really low, and Facebook isn't stupid either. It lowers the quality of your audience. So how do you notice this? Through sales, obviously, but also through VCL retention. So when you launch a CBO campaign, 1.5, you see that the retention stays there, I don't know, for weight loss. Retention should be around 25%, right? More or less. About 30% thereof, 27.
roughly.
Yeah, about 27. 25 to 27 when the conversion rate is 2%, 2.5%.
That's right. 2.2
2.2.
goals. Yeah, you're on top of things, man. 2.2.
2.2 for VSL conversion at 25 to 27% retention is a validated VSL. But scaling it up, retention drops to 10%.
Happened. No,
That what happened?
that's what happened. That's what it was.
You'll see it drop and say, damn, the audience, they're really unqualified. Why does it work for Nutra and not for Info? DC, you agree with me? Because for Nutra, when a sale happens, the numbers add up. Because the average ticket for Nutra is going to be $210, $220, up to $260. In other words, like 1,500, not 1,500 Rs, 1,200, 1,300 Rs net, right? Basically. With Info, you'll make 300 Rs, not even $100, $80. So even if you lower the CPM a lot by using the bathtub scaling, the audience quality drops. But with a sale that goes through, the numbers add up in the end. So you see that the VSL retention gets really bad. The metrics also consequently get cheaper. However, the few sales that do happen when using the Bayana scaling, the math works out. With Info products, that doesn't happen because
It costs much less.
exactly. So it finds the buyer, but when the sale happens, the math doesn't add up. So the people who sell, well, people ask me, wow, does the Bayana method work for low ticket? And here I am kind of arguing against JXS, right? Which is basically like it helps to run the Bayana scaling. It speeds everything up, actually. It makes everything much faster. But most people use it because of the Bayana scaling or to hide the losses as well. But this happens like the low ticket crowd says, man, and actually I expanded on this thought, which was a theory, a hypothesis of mine, right? That I've been discussing with people and it's turning into a theory. In fact, this even happens with Nutra. Like for example, the guy who runs ED, the CPC is much cheaper. So because it's cheaper, there's a floor, right? You can't make it that much cheaper. It's like the cost of a microphone. No matter how much you try to reduce the cost, it will be 100 reais. So I can try to change everything here, but it won't go below 100 reais. ED's CPC is the same thing. So if you run the auction for ED, sometimes it doesn't work either because it's already cheap.
That makes sense. It makes total sense because, do you agree? Because, for example, for me, man, I have uploaded the catalog several times. Yes, many times, even with DirectAds, which by the way is a really good tool. It helps me a lot in my day-to-day work, man.
Merchandise.
You should definitely go ahead and buy it right now.
Now.
Subscribe.
14 days free.
Man, so I uploaded it to the catalog and all the metrics dropped. In terms of retention, BCL its retention went down the drain. A lot of metrics just went down the drain. The CPM got a lot cheaper and then it sold, but the numbers just didn't add up.
The ROI was
It was pretty tight. So for me, the catalog actually functioned well enough up to a certain specific point. It matches what you said about the part where you mentioned the metrics dropping. That in the end, the numbers just don't add up.
the catalog is the same thing. How do you balance the catalog? That's another theory of mine too. Which is what? The catalog, it will make the metrics cheaper. And the audience will get really bad too. But on the other hand, it's the downside and the upside. It gets a lot more approvals. So if you use the catalog delay, which is to put the ad in later, you can get more creative ads approved, much more aggressive ones. So it's a balancing act. So if you're extremely aggressive, you'll be able to improve your metrics. But if you launch it on a regular CBO, it'll get rejected. So you have to, yes, that's what I say. Man, if your creative is getting approved on regular CBO, on ABO, CBO, go with CBO, ABO. If it's getting rejected, move it to the catalog, because if it's good, it'll be worth it. So you have to strike that balance. So today I keep trying to create little rules, methods. We also test on a 51 there in ABO, in Bayana. Our test is already in Bayana because we run it in Nutra, in regular ABO. If any creative gets rejected, we move it to the catalog. Then if the numbers add up, we go ahead. If not, just scale it there in ABO. It stays on display there in the bookstore, which is another advantage of the catalog. But the important thing at the end of the day is
to have a portfolio. There was a time when I had no other option. I had to scale with the catalog. I had to do what you mentioned. Had to get aggressive with the creative. I had no other choice. I was approving way more than... Because without the catalog, I wouldn't have approved that kind of creative. So I had to do this balancing act. But when I managed to get back to get the creatives approved again, I started testing the catalog, even with the aggressiveness of the ad versus without the catalog. Even though the ad was less aggressive, the one without the catalog performed better than the one with the catalog. Even though the ad is more aggressive, you
can see it by the AVSL retention.
Exactly.
It's a hell of an indicator. The best indicator is AVSL retention.
Because
you don't need to wait for the sale, which will take a long time for you. And there on VTurb, we can see the isolated retention of the creative. That's really cool. In the past, it didn't show up. Well, so I understood the catalog part. We're done with that. That's important, right, guys? This is information that not even people in mastermind groups talk about.
It is everything, okay? In the game, man.
Yeah, like it's about the catalog, the CBO, knowing when to use it. That's the difference I'm talking about. Man, you have to look at your metrics. The manager has to be watching their metrics. Look, everyone says the catalog is good, but that it can go wrong. Man, so you look at your operation and see what works. That's the biggest tip of all.
You have to test.
I say that the manager there is like a mad scientist. You always have to be...
Always coming up with crazy ideas, testing things out. You can't stop. I'm going to test this.
And goal in one, just to see what happens.
Because sometimes it didn't work for me, but it works for you.
Maybe for
Nutra.
For Nutra, it works. Exactly. And I saw there are some of our clients where the guy launches 100 ad accounts. He's doing something. I stopped to take a look. He thinks he should launch one campaign in each account. So the guy is doing some crazy scaling over there. See?
You see?
Then he calls us, man, some accounts aren't launching and stuff. But he launches in 80 accounts at the same time. Like with the campaign there, like with one click, like super fast. Then you go along with it. All right, then.
I've seen some crazy stuff too, you know? 135, 157.
There are infinite possibilities.
Combine them. Well, what's the total? See? It's infinite.
No, you say it. And each time it's a different little button, like placement, age.
Yeah, exactly.
Wi-Fi or not. That's a cool thing.
A cool thing to test too.
It's actually worked out quite a lot.
For me. Just the Wi-Fi there.
As for the Wi-Fi, we keep the setting on Wi-Fi only for now.
This is a tip.
Gold, another golden tip. The guy is at home, comfortable in a place where your VSL won't freeze. Anyway, well, we've talked a lot about traffic just to understand what a traffic manager's routine is like. Today you have 6 people. How does that work? Is it you plus 5 or you plus...
No, me plus 6.
You plus 6 people. That's right. Who else is on the team?
There are 2 managers, right? There are 2 editors.
2 editors.
That's right. 2 media buyers, 2 editors, 1 copywriter, and 1 support person.
1 copywriter and 1 support. Oh, you have support because you're a producer, right? So you need to provide support for the people there so you don't run into problems with refunds, chargebacks, etc. Yeah.
That's really important.
All right, 2 editors. And what do these editors do? Is one for creatives and the other for ads? Or do both handle everything?
Both are for creatives, actually. For ads, they're fully focused on creatives. Because for me, like I was telling you earlier, volume and speed are really important. So from the moment we get something right, we need to scale as quickly as possible. And with the best possible, even so that...
No one steals your idea.
Exactly. And maximizing the number of creatives. So that's why I decided to assign those 2 to focus exclusively on creatives. They're making the variations that we test. Man, I just say these creatives here worked. The managers say these creatives here worked. Make the variations. They go there and keep making variations nonstop because then we can launch them the same day or even the next day, right away. Whatever has been validated, we scale it again. We already give them feedback. If this one is validated, stack it up Hulk style. Man, change the hook, change the beginning, use a different avatar, that kind of thing.
Today, for example, you have...
Mixing things up.
How many creatives do you launch per editor per day?
Man, at least per editor per day, about 20, man.
20 creatives per day. But does that count brand new creatives from scratch? Or does it include hooks? So, because it's just about cutting the hook there.
That's what we do here in my operation. 80-20, what is it? 80-20? We use 80-20 for everything. We use 80% of the creatives to make variations of those creatives that performed well, and 20% of the creatives that need to be made that day. Those are completely new creatives to test new ideas.
Cool.
So we generally prefer to utilize this 80-20 rule simply because we fully understand that the operation profits more from those creatives that are already validated than from the tests that we're going to make. The tests have to be kind of secondary, right? They should be disposable. They need to be done so you can keep driving your operation forward.
If you only use variations, it eventually dies out. Creative.
Good.
And you don't have
You don't have exactly other creatives up your sleeve to use. And for lead and
micro lead, do you also do anything in that regard? Or
is there
some other editor who handles that separately? It is almost like
with lead and micro lead, unless we're scaling really hard, then we
takes longer.
But lead and micro lead are quick things too. So he can also do the edits on the same day, but it's not something we test a lot. So we test, let's say, 1 per week there. I think that's enough. 4 per month is already enough to get a general idea. And
today, to reach that revenue of 1 million, 3 million per month, how many offers do you run simultaneously?
we run 3 offers simultaneously. So we run in Spanish, in English, and also in French.
The same offer?
No, different offers, but we also run them. Depending on the offer, we can also run it in another language, but currently there are 3 different offers.
In the same niche?
No.
That's quite a bit different too.
So it's weight loss, memory, and 3
different ones.
And now we're also testing one on TikTok, right? So I'm here in Rio with extra, man, but it's actually performing well. It's like,
you really have to be pressing that study button over there.
Yeah, I'm pressing it.
So how is TikTok?
Man, I think it's way easier than Facebook.
Really?
Seriously, you just buy the account there. ABC, right? We don't call it BM on Facebook. It's BM, not CBC.
The business world.
Center. We buy the BC there. It's cheap, like 200 reais. And then you just launch the ad on Facebook. You have to warm up the account.
Have you tried an agency account on TikTok?
No, I've never tried because I've already gotten feedback from some people I know who said, man, it's not worth it.
Oh, cool.
So it's actually easier for you to just buy
one. I think Marcio and Guy, they run TikTok hard.
They do. Are you
close to them still?
Yes, I talked to them there at Next and Next. That's right. Then they said they were running TikTok.
That was cool, right?
I think it was the operation, if I'm not mistaken, it's their most important traffic source right now, okay?
Oh?
I could be talking nonsense, but if I'm not mistaken, that's it. And
are you able to scale Neon on TikTok today?
So it's been very promising, okay? I thought it would be something secondary, that it was just a test, but it's turning into something that I was surprised, a bit of a shock there.
But from what I understand, you didn't just take everything you had and throw it over there. You picked a specific offer that is accepted under the
policies of 3 on Facebook and 1 on
TikTok. 4 offers from different people.
With 6 people. Because the test, how do I run the test to make my operation faster, right? I've always preferred speed and scaling things up rather than just the things themselves. That's why I keep talking here on the podcast about speed and volume. For me to have this lean team and still be able to scale up and move faster, what do? Let's say it's a new offer. If it's an offer that's already gaining traction, that's what I do. I send it to the editors. The item goes to 20 different places, creatives, etc. For a new offer, I simply clone the creatives. To test faster, because I'm not going to take up my editor's time, who's working on something that's already delivering results, to test something completely new, taking up all his time just to try out something totally unproven. For me, it's not worth it. So I clone the creatives for a new offer, and the ones that work, then I start to actually model them. Work on top of them.
Just so you can raise the metric. You pay to raise the metric.
Exactly. I pay to raise the metric, and with that, I get an answer right there. Because we need data, right? So an answer in 3 days or so. I liked it.
Man, he was honest. I liked it. Nice job. You have to.
You have to say it. If you clone, many say they don't, but they actually do.
I don't know what's up. Now he's speaking my language. Now we've just started the podcast. Now.
What's the truth, man? The moment of truth starts now.
Forget everything you said. Okay, Vitor? Man, I didn't like that. Because everyone does it and no one can say otherwise. No one can say otherwise. It's just that you're gutsy.
Yeah, man, you have to be right. You have to be gutsy.
Everyone grabs it, man. You have to moderate, test, And man, the guy who's
Starting out, I'm going to do it from scratch. Don't do it, man, you clone.
you download the VCL, download the creatives, upload them, damn, then you'll have metrics. You'll be buying data.
Right?
Man, that's the most normal thing in the real world.
And
I used to abolish that too, right? I can't speak frankly. I used to abolish that in the market so much so that I wanted direct chat to hide my offers, but that's another problem. It's the state secret of my operation. But like everyone does this. That's benchmarking, man. You set it to run, saw that it's working well there with the creative. Damn, now those creatives already have some direction. Did you test 20? 3, I'm going to take the invisible structure. I'm going to create more hooks for this creative. I'm going to improve the editing because like running it, at least for us, okay? Just uploading cloned creatives. We've tried that before and it didn't work out. Sometimes it sold, sometimes it didn't. But when we started using intelligence, like analyzing by sales without ROI, right? Or hook rate. And we started to work on it, model it, do the second stage. Because the result is that the cloners, they just clone. Then the guy is going to get screwed from that point of view. There must be someone else who's really good at traffic and makes it work, right? But when we do these 2 steps, like clone, gather data, see what worked, and move on to the next stage, I think that's what you do over there.
exactly, it's like a semicolon. It's not just cloning.
Raise
Getting that data over there quickly, simply because it is a lot faster for us. And it is really just a much quicker way to test things out. But then we make our own ads, you know, because we just need to understand which ad works and which one doesn't. So that's the metric, that ad we cloned. It's not going to scale, it will sell. So you're not going to scale an ad that doesn't scale, but you already have the positive or negative result of whether it will scale for you, in case you make variations of it. So you look at the invisible structure, take a look. It's hook, you put in different hooks, different characters.
so, and you just keep going at it.
These permutations to see which response works. If that response works, great. Start scaling. It's about speed. When it comes to budget, it's about duplicating, volume, and speed. Very
Cool, man. I'm thinking here if there's anything else. Is there anything else here? This is something I do that I've never seen anyone else do in paid traffic. Man, this is something I do and
nobody.
has ever done.
There's something that works today. It used to work before. On all accounts, currently it works on some accounts about 60%, which is what? You modify it. Let's suppose the creative got taken down. You're scaling that creative and you say, damn, Facebook took down the creative I was scaling. That always happened to me. I don't know if that happens to you all the time.
When you scale, they take it down.
They take it down. It's a pain.
That's not vertical scaling. It's normal for that to happen
Exactly. It's a pain, right?
because you're scaling. You increase the amount, I think, according to my theories, right? I think more bots start hitting that creative because you're putting more money into it.
Is that it?
It goes and takes it down.
It's natural.
Exactly.
It's part of it. So what I used to do to scale it up faster, right? I didn't make any changes on the outside. I didn't send it to the editor or anything, because if I did, it would take his time and it would also take him a while to edit and all that stuff. Sometimes you're up late at night, you know?
Yeah.
3 a.m, there's no way you can message the guy, right? Unless he's a workaholic just like you, right? Me too. So I would go there and edit the cover myself. Then I upload the cover,
The thumbnail.
I edit the cover, put something similar to the niche. So let's suppose it's for the fitness niche, like someone working out, or for the weight loss niche, a woman cooking there.
Yeah.
You upload that kind of cover and the creative gets approved quickly. You
Upload the cover and hit play again.
That's right, hit play again. It gets approved again quickly in a matter of minutes. It's 5 minutes, at most half an hour, and it's approved. It's already spending, you know? So like this really saved and still saves scaling a lot.
Actually, you just gave me an idea now. Write that down, editor, for me. Send it to me on WhatsApp later because I'll forget. Write it down, man.
From DirectAds.
Make sure to note this part. It's really important. Doing direct ADS in an automated way. We put it there. It already generates a cover according to the frame.
That would be cool, right?
If the creative gets rejected, boom. It already looks good, right?
Good.
Man, if it gets rejected, it already switches it for you.
That time gap between when the creative is rejected and when you actually notice it was rejected. Of course, you get the notification on your phone, right? You see it was rejected, but until you're at the computer and see it yourself, you don't know.
It's an ad account that's only on the proxy, not even on the phone.
It takes time too.
A lot of ad accounts, right? The manager gets distracted.
It's already
Over. I want to do this. I'm
4 a.m, you're not awake, everyone's sleeping. What will you do?
spending quit.
You're scaling up.
And then there's also the time zone in the United States, which is more than 6 different time zones.
So you wake up awful, you say, damn,
It's not even spending.
right?
You already get frustrated. There's this thing I want to do, and there's a little hack I'm going to share too, which is similar to this one. So the same strategy. Yeah. No, actually, it's the same goal, different strategy. What I did was take the post from the creative there, just delete it, copy it again, and hit play. So like I would change it instead of having anyone who works with traffic will get it. Instead of having that little format of an uploaded creative, I would take that creative that had already become a Pulse ID, select Insert Pulse ID, which is the same creative, and swap it out. Then it would get approved super fast. Also, because it was literally the same thing, just like you do. It's a little hack.
Same here, no need.
Change the thumbnail, copy and paste, then you're done. When it fell,
Didn't know this.
I would just delete it, put the Pulse ID in again, and hit play there. When we scaled vertically, man, for those who scale vertically, that's the most important thing. Because when the creative is popping off, especially around 8 or 9 at night, when the budget is already set, 5, 10, 20, just like in the trailer, like 100,000 raised in the budget, man, half an hour is a lot of money lost. So you have to keep updating every 5 minutes, checking if the creative got rejected. And usually it just goes back to performing the way it was. Nothing goes wrong.
Just so you have an idea, when I'm scaling, man, I take my laptop to the movies if I have to, you know?
That's a good one. Let's talk a bit about the behavior of traffic managers, because there are a lot of Nutella people out there. A lot of Nutella. There are a lot of people.
Nutella. There are a lot of Nutella people, man.
And you, when you were working with traffic, do you still get your hands dirty today? Let's talk about when you were doing it. What was your behavior like as a manager? What time did you wake up? What time did you go to bed? What was your daily routine like? For the people who are managers and want to really make money, who actually do, you want to
Really make money, man. A manager when you're on your own. Today I have people to help me, who support me there, so I can also have some peace, a little peace, right? But when you're just starting out scaling up there, man, you can't stop. You can't sleep. I didn't sleep. I would wake up every 2 hours, you know? My life was like turned upside down all over the place. But like at the same time, I made a lot of money. So it was worth it. But that's the attitude you have to have, man. No matter where you go, no matter where you are, you have to have your laptop by your side. Because if something happens, you need to increase the budget, you need to change the creative, you need to switch the ad account, you need to be ready for that moment.
because
Every second that goes by, every minute, that's a lot of money you're leaving on the table.
and
That can't happen. That can't happen.
the
The person who gave me this tip was Rodrigo. In fact, back then, when I was partnered with him, in business with him, he took care of the copywriting part, and I handled more of the traffic side. And then one fine day, I said, Rodrigo, I'm at the movies. He said, no, man, it doesn't matter. Whether you're at the movies or not, you have to bring your laptop.
you bought yours.
Crazy? You have to bring your laptop. I said, no, you're right. You're right. Because that's exactly it. Do you want to be someone different? Do you want a business that really makes a good profit? Do you really want to scale up? Stop being just another one in the market. You have to be a different kind of guy too. No matter where you are, you have to bring it. You're the traffic manager. Currently, I consider traffic management to be the most important part of the 80-20 in a DR operation. Right now. So how can someone who, to me, is the main pillar of the operation not be available at that time, in that moment? You get it?
This is important.
This is very important. That's why we alternate shifts, my managers there. I have 2, and right? It's
To come up with a good plan, we
we come up with a plan so everyone stays alert at any given moment, right? So
to rest as well, right?
that's exactly it there.
In the next one, we did 2 shifts. Also kind of like autumn, night shift,
Which,
which is a manager would cover from around 8 or 9 in the morning until midnight. And then there was a manager who would cover from midnight until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And then you could watch from 5 to 8 in the morning here. There's a time slot that historically doesn't spend.
this matters because there are many Nutella managers these days.
They won't.
To work properly, you know? I'm here sending a kiss.
Just so you know, my manager has 2 or 3 internet connections at his house.
3.
I pay for a Starlink for him. I leave it at his house.
Nice.
He also has his top tier fiber internet and top tier mobile internet. I told him, man, get the best mobile internet.
You know you can't stay still during operations. You can't stop.
You can't. You can't.
Do it.
Go Lincoln. Go Lincoln. Move on to save now. Let's improve your salary plan since you're my current manager. I
Fired 3 followers, 3 managers in a row because they didn't want to work properly, you know?
and
I always said, man, can you handle the pressure? Man, are you ready for this? Because I'm going to demand that from you.
and today the guys there
Have
commission. Mine,
Mine too.
in our operation, people get commission. There, I just pay a meal voucher and that's it. You have to work.
It's
Just slave labor. Please watch out for getting cancelled.
the canceling has started.
It's starting to.
We are going to be late.
This is water too, not boots. But the guys are on commission, and when they get paid well.
Yes, because it's important for them to also receive that
Part of the.
an extra added bonus.
But that's what I always say too. I was telling my team today, man, first you have to show that you're hardcore if you want to be recognized.
No?
Point in, like, as a manager, oh no, just showing up and already trying to negotiate. You're on one side of the table, man. Here, you don't have much power. You have to prove yourself first. And I'm saying this with all the humility in the world. Back when I was an employee, like I was an intern, man, and I was already working like from 8 to 6. And people would say, aren't you going home? I used to pretend I had things to do just so I could stay in the office. Like, because I had college afterwards. Oh no, I'm just getting ahead on some things. No, but your shift is over already. Then I said, no, but this is just quick. I kept making excuses. No, just half an hour. I'll leave my boss. Then he'd go to a meeting and come back like, hey, you're still here? Then I said, no, it's just that I have to take care of one more little thing here. I'm getting ahead for tomorrow. Oh, okay, good. When I realized it, I was like pissed, earning like 1,000 Rs a month. So people don't get it. People are like, oh, you have to earn well first. Otherwise,
You have to start being a different kind of person if you want to earn something different too.
right?
You get it? First you start, then you earn, not the other way around. And
Not vice versa. First you run the marathon and then the medal.
exactly.
It's so obvious. People want the opposite. People want to get the medal whether they've run the race or not.
Rodrigo himself was telling me, talking about his operation, but he was telling me that his manager simply disappeared for the whole day. He went to check the management metrics. All the CPAs had already been blown. The ROI had dropped to 0. He said, what happened? Then he went to confront the manager. The manager had simply been out the whole day. He said, no, look, I left at 2, I left at 11 and came back at 9 at night.
No, that doesn't exist.
Man, what do you mean? How do you do that?
Well, man, I'm trying to think of something else, but I think we've already covered a lot of cool stuff, huh? Obviously, there must be other things about copy, management, and so on, but the idea is to focus more on traffic.
And
First of all, thank you. The guy came all the way from Sao Paulo.
which is a day away where we stay.
Coming here, man. Your first podcast then? First one?
First one.
I got him out the cave.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Cut
Game, always in the cave. Cave.
all the time. The guy just works. And do you have any message for the people out there, for the traffic managers? Do you want to look at the camera? Do you want to look at me?
Guys, honestly, for those of you who are just starting out, don't stop, right? If you really want to change your life, this is the way, right? Go after the things you are looking for, the things you really want, right? Because this here changed my life and it will probably change yours too, right? So it probably changed his too, right? And everyone who's watching here as well. So guys, go after it, right? Make it happen. Don't be soft, right? Especially with traffic, because it's the 80-20 of the game. And watch, right? The full DU podcast is here. The guy is awesome, right? And let's go for it. And
Today, do you have any kind of educational program? Or do you just work really
not currently.
Instagram for all?
Leave my Instagram. It's down here, right? Hey there, guys from Via Editar. The handle you are looking for is Gustavo Cross. And please note that it is spelled with 2 R's in the middle there.
Are you a CrossFitter?
CrossFitter? No. Not yet. But
Gustavo Cross.
Gustavo Cross. CR 2 R's, right?
Okay. And
I lost my thought. I think
not. Do you have a mentorship program or something like that? Ah, okay. Or do you just work nowadays?
I don't have a mentorship, right? These days, I just work, you know? I just run my own operation.
Listen, props to you.
Then that's fine, right? Then we reconsider.
That's it.
Guys, go.
Bug the guy on Instagram, follow him. And that's it, man. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, well. Thank you, really. We're in this together. Thanks for the podcast. That's it, man.
Thanks.